I'm glad I realized that. Because maybe I can return to work before I get fired. I don't know. Maybe I should just call the union and be like, I'm ready to come back to work.
Okay, why did your date cancel on you?
Because we didn't exchange numbers and we just said, yeah, we'll meet later. And then they just never responded.
You went for the 23-year-old, didn't you?
No, I messaged both of them and they both aren't responding. Otherwise, I'd be out right now having a dinner and not talking to you, fatty. Welcome to the roast of Abby Eba. Abby Eba! That fucking neo-Nazi bitch. Fucks dead. Fucks Diogenes. That's my Shoki impersonation. I played for M. Kapara this like conversation she had with Shoki, and she's like, "Oh my god, send me the link." She was so happy because like I had captured him being a total piece of shit.
And he's like, "Dude, I don't know if I can buy your perfumes anymore." And I just said to him, "I completely understand. I know you have to. My intention isn't to bring you down, to give you a bad reputation.
Mind virus.
Fact, that's the very last thing that I want."
He's Jewish. He makes perfumes. He's funny.
I think I know him.
He's a nice guy. He's very smart. He does do a lot of analogies with his perfumes.
No, I can't stand him. I think I know him from old Clubhouse days.
Yeah, he's annoying, no doubt. He actually does do a lot. Like, he does put his face on his Instagram, so that's legit. Yeah, I wonder if those are hair plugs. See, this is the great thing about being bald. When I see men that like are thinning, or it looks like their head or hair full of hair plugs, they think it looks good, but it really doesn't make a difference. What really matters is how physically fit are you.
Yep.
You know, and that's why I'm always bringing up the gym with you.
Well, I tell you, I'm very fat, so. I mean.
Fatty McBuckets.
I need to be bullied.
This is maybe why you like Diogenes, because like maybe you're submissive and you like being bullied because you're like a fat naughty girl.
But he's nice to me though.
Yeah, but he bullies, so like maybe you're still attracted to bullies.
But he doesn't bully me.
Have you ever been in a toxic relationship with a man?
No.
Never?
Never.
So Clown House is your only like access to a toxic male.
Yeah, because I'm ugly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm really ugly, like unacceptable.
I created these these Hinge videos of like screenshots of hot chicks from Hinge. It's called Kissing Lessons. Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Sex and Dating Life Coach at subscribe now.
Oh no, don't do that.
Why not?
I don't know. It's just like.
It's a movie. You mean to tell me that these beautiful women post all these beautiful photos of themselves because they just want to be like average? No, they post this stuff because they think they're influencers. You know, they've all tested their pussy on Instagram. They've all tested OnlyFans. Like they've all the hot chicks have looked into that. So it's only.
You think so?
Yeah, they post photos of themselves in bikinis, in thongs, like on a public social audio, on a public dating app. So it's like, I'm gonna screenshot your fat ass, because if I see you downtown in Chicago at some nightclub sometime, I'm gonna be like, hey baby, hold on a second, I think I got a photo of you via my phone. Holy shit, is that your ass in a bikini and a thong from Hinge? Is that you?
Yeah.
And they're like, delete that fucking photo from your fucking phone right fucking now. And I'm like, wait a minute, is that you? And they're like, delete my ass from your phone now. All communication is projection and hypnosis.
Why would girls do that?
Because they're proud of their fat little asses in G-strings and bikinis. They all want to be in Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic or St. Kitts or St. Bart's or the Virgin Islands. Like they want to be at a $1,200 a night Airbnb right now. That's why they want to travel the world. You know, it's like the girl last night. She was, I I think
I'm working in the background. Yeah.
I think I might have live streamed our conversation last night. I could see if it took. I don't think it took, or I turned it off. I don't know. Let me see if it's on this profile. No, Nora Bandora psych ward. I thought I took this phone with me. Let me see. No, that's not it. That's not it. Let's see what shows up.
Oof, this is such a tedious work. I don't know.
Honey?
Not happy with this.
I didn't take. Oh, maybe it did. Said, you spread your victimization as content. And you know what I really love is like quoting back gossip to people that like Lashon Hara. So they said something nasty about something, and then I just like share it with that person, and it like inflames that. Basically, talking about Jazzy, but like El Normo said something about Jazzy, so I repeated it. I said El Normo just says you just like you do victimization communication, and she was just like, I'm gonna kick you from the room, bitch. I fear
he knows he has nothing to say. He knows he's talking about some fucking bullshit Plato's Republic where everyone believes some religious lie and then everything's fine. Everything's gonna be harmonious, even though there's 12 factions of Islam somehow. With that fucking shit that dropped out of the fucking sky, all freezer wrapped, it's perfect. How stupid does he think we are?
Was that bad? I gotta have something to eat.
I can't.
I'll eat up that pizza. Hey, Hans, your next on.
We're hearing a slice of life in the Hans household. Casita Hans.
But then, I do everything wrong.
It's more interesting than hearing some fucking Muslim talk about the fucking bullshit religion. I'll say that much. Go ahead, keep your mic.
Yeah, I was hoping that
Nora's brother's looking for Diego.
To like kill him?
I don't know. Apparently Diego's not picking up her phone calls.
Yeah, that's what was said.
But it's well that the brother's looking for him.
Yeah, but what do you mean? What does that mean, looking for him? Like, that just means like he told somebody, he's like, I want to find him, but that doesn't mean he's like.
They probably like to beat the shit out of him. I don't know.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's in California, like scouring, going door to door. What are you talking about? You're just like saying something stupid.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. It's like, basically, hold on, I'm doing stuff. Oh, what's this? Yeah, so basically you're just trying to find him for what? I don't know. I like, they don't say it. They're like, we're not gonna say what, but
the void, the absence is the threat. It's the nothingness. It's the terror, the fear of not being explicit. When it comes to these people, sometimes if they're really, really determined, they will like use everything in order to find them. So
I was at this nice Chinese restaurant and at his house, and
excuse me, moderator Dolly, can you kick Rabbi from the audience? He's recording the room and he's an anti-Semite Jew hater. He's a racist. Kick him.
He's recording the room? Oh, fuck.
Thank you.
That's crazy. No, he's not.
I just got Rabbi kicked from the room.
Wait, Dolly, don't trust you. He's like a known troll. I've seen him multiple times.
You is recording most likely, but
I am not recording. Rabbi McDickerson is a troll. I am. Oh, they kicked me.
we have more points of view, the people at the top have to
Nick Zed
be
is in this
slightly
room.
more sophisticated. But we get fucking jerked around as well. You can always tell when Washington's about to go to war with someone because like they're gonna demonize.
No, not really. It's stupid, I'm sure.
No, you have to see his dandruff hair.
Oh, just screenshot it, put it as your PTR.
No, fuck no.
What do
I'm
you
not gonna
mean?
put it here.
Who cares?
Here. Check the link. Just scroll through it.
I'm good.
You will
Just send
see
it to
Like
me on Instagram.
like a good
Yeah, I sent it here.
Jewish boy. Why are you hanging out with the atheists
So lame,
today?
Abby.
We're
Get a
gonna be
life.
bad influence on you, man.
Get a life,
It was
Abby.
easiest most days.
Let's see.
No.
So he's on
Yeah,
video
I know.
debating him?
I really like
Yes.
it. Nick said I like our
Is
conversations.
it really stupid? Did you listen to it?
No, I'm laughing when I saw his earbuds. I was thinking about earwax sufferer.
He has earplugs?
Yeah, in this video he has earpods.
You know, I did study Judaism for about a year.
28,000 views?
And
Yeah, he does better than
That's
you.
not Diego.
but
That
I
is
learned
Diego.
more about
No, it's not. No, it's not. I've seen Diego. That's not Diego.
people.
That's not Diego.
Diego from 7
than I
years
did
ago.
about God.
No, that's not Diego.
From that's not the first.
Oh, maybe you're right. Let me see.
Judaism is class.
Oh, it is
like,
Diego.
The first one is not Diego.
very light.
He lost a lot of hair.
Didn't go into much depth.
Which
I
is
don't know.
this
I
concept,
should
right?
have
I'm talking
taken
about the
something
one
like
with
what's
the
it
black hair.
called?
He's such a loser.
Mystic Judaism.
He's so
or something.
stupid. Great find. Okay, Abby, you're the best. You do get great finds.
Maybe I'll try Buddhism
You're
next.
funny as hell. He is stupid. It is so stupid. It's Clubhouse. It's just Clubhouse. Like he recorded Clubhouse, and it's all stupid. But yeah, he looks like shit when I saw him compared to that video. He looks much better in that video.
But like this is 7 years ago, so
In real life, he looks terrible.
I don't
Into
believe,
world
like, I
history
believe
or
you.
any one particular group of
Huh?
people,
I believe you.
which I find kind of
Yeah,
refreshing.
I mean, you know,
It's pretty wide open.
he's not that handsome in that video, anyways. But the point is,
Basically, but
now
it was
his
the
hair is
first
falling out.
psychologist. He just said, look, you know, everyone's on fire with their own passionate desires that
I
are
bet you he
running
gets a
their
divorce
lives.
too
And
over this whole thing about
number
him
two,
fucking her in
those
Vegas.
desires are causing suffering for yourself and everyone.
Do you think his
around
mom
you
really-
Ultimately, and
And
number
Jazzy
three,
put
there's
out so
a way
many
out of
lies,
that
didn't she?
by,
I know, well, it's his lie, maybe.
Jazzy put out all these lies. So stupid.
I don't know if it's her lie or
Boys
his
would
lie.
dress in girls' clothes, rituals. Circumcision probably didn't as less drastic earlier castrations, which used to be considered.
And that's the reason why they had a bit of don't ask, don't tell, because of Merkel. And but now there is a problem, I'm afraid. This is going to be pandemonium in Europe for the next few years. Because this is something that personally I was wary of. The crumbling of the cookie, which is the European Union, is underway now. And we're going to see some.
But the CDU is not Eurosceptic. The CDU is pro-EU.
I can listen to Indians.
The fact that they're getting
It's your kryptonite.
The ANC had no future.
This guy's smart though.
No future. Nobody would take it. Now they're on to Germany like a rash. And the advent of the ANC, such a short time, I apologize for the background noise, such a short clip, is one of the scariest things that Germans have seen in a long time. So, the Christian Democrats 5 years ago wouldn't have even dreamt about being in bed with the AFD. Now it is. So the Overton window is moved towards the right,
No, I agree with that. But here's the thing, right? The thing is, the whole reason for that shift is not Euroscepticism and abortion and all of that. The reason for that shift is squarely on immigration. And I think as long as they tackle immigration, the CDU will be fine. So to arrest a loss of vote from the CDU to the AFD, they have to tackle immigration. And I think that's going to be very interesting, is how they do that. Particularly Islamic immigration. What do you think?
Yes, sorry, I was just doing something. I agree that the immediate, the vanguard of anti-immigration Asian or Islamic influence. Right now, they're focusing on that. But one of the reasons why I get worried is because of Indian liberals, from an Indian perspective, who have the capacity and have solemnly sworn themselves to be the net security providers of all of the liberal world. And if it isn't about brown-skinned Indians that are deity worshippers yet, I promise you the Indian liberals have the capacity to flip it into precisely that in exactly 24 months. So we're T minus 24. And very soon you'll find this. The Indians will make it about themselves. And while you have a growing entourage of Indians in Germany, this is likely to be on decline. This is what I worry about, but that's a sidebar. So dear Indian liberals, shut the fuck up. Let the dirty linen wash itself out. You're not European. Shut up. You're there for economic reasons. Integrate well. Don't piss them off. And just keep quiet. Lay it low.
What do you want to relationship with America?
Hey?
What do you think of the relationship with America?
It's going to be extremely transactional and civilizational ties are going to be loosened up a little bit perhaps, and this is where I agree with you. I think you made some really fine ass observations there. I dare say you made points. And I'd say the two things that I want to submit. So the first is that it's like Europe is likely to be way more transactional now with the advent of the right wing in Germany. Even with the US. But the second question I have for you is, what do you think is going to be the role of the German diaspora in assuaging the relationship with Germany and America?
I don't think German diaspora in America have any clout. I'll be very honest. So, if you like German American or something, they expect you to be American, right? I think that's what it is, and they also identify themselves as American.
Yes, all that is absolutely right. But my concern is there could be a bit of a diaspora war going on in the US in the next 5 years, wherein the French and German diaspora can actually decouple from whiteness. And say, okay, we both enjoy some degree of whiteness, but the motherland is Germany, a fatherland, if you will, and France and whatnot. And that could be a situation where the United States of America could be home base for diaspora wars of Europe. But it's a little far out right now, but it could be something that could play in as we move forward.
This is very interesting. Something else, a statement coming out from Macron, who's due to meet Trump in Washington, has said, "We are more determined than ever to achieve great things together for France and for Germany, and to work for a strong and sovereign Europe." I think it's very interesting that they are basically saying, we do not want America anymore. And I think I like that. That's a good thing.
It's beginning to sound an awful lot like the Canadian Prime Minister in the making, what's his name? Pierre Poilievre. And so the question is, can China, from a Chinese perspective, bring together these dissenting voices? And how ironical is that? The CCP belling dissenting voices outside. Can they bring together these voices from across the world that are anti-America? And what will the Chinese look at galvanizing together? Sam, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, you. What do you guys think?
Well,
What was the question?
Western civilizational construct, is it beginning to unbecome? Especially from across the Atlantic, where there's supposed to be this collective, is the advent of the right wing in Europe the beginning of the end of the concept of Western civilization?
I don't think so. I think Western civilization is like peaking. It's like constantly peaking. I mean, it hasn't fallen, and since 1945, it's just grown and grown and grown. So, however you want to define that, but the one agent which is always going to persist and never deconstruct or regress is chaos. And I think the West is extremely good at creating unpredictable chaos or false flags to suit their needs as required.
Okay, so how would you process the Canada-U.S. situation in light of Trump? And I just want to hear your initial perception of that, and then we could dive deeper, perhaps.
I would say it's like performative art and nothing more than that, to tell you the truth. That I think that the Western cohesion, especially among English speaking countries, is technically always going to be there because there's so much overlay and crisscross and multinationalism that essentially it is, there are no oceans in terms of business. I mean, everything, look what we're doing right now. I'm in Chicago, you're in Chandigarh, or where, that's the point. It's like it's instantaneous global communication. So I'm just saying it's all performative art. It's all bullshit. Because as soon as Trump got elected, the Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau flew straight to Mar-a-Lago. He was one of the first people to meet with America. Why? Because that Canadian American relationship is a priority relationship, and even if they hate Trudeau, Canada is still, the connection. I mean, it's so integrated. There is no reason to have any extreme disagreements.
Very interesting, Nature. What do you think?
About what?
Well, I'm guessing you heard Yu's position, did you? Did you get a chance to listen to him?
No.
Okay, would you mind just repeating that for me? That's on trouble. I'm sorry you have to do that.
No. But I don't know the question. If I know the question, then I can put his position in context.
So my question was, is the Western civilizational construct beginning to feel pressure from within, an advent of the
I don't agree. I don't think the Western civilizational construct is feeling any pressure from within.
Interesting. I would have expected you to defend that proposition, HK, to be honest. But it's interesting. Good to know where you're at. Sam, what do you think? Sam, are you there?
Yes, I was about to go to sleep. Yeah, I'm in Poland, so it's pretty late for me here. Yeah, I think all the governments in all over the world, if you notice, there is a pattern. Like they all start electing the left-leaning government, and then they all start electing the right-leaning government. So I think they follow a pattern. Like they look at one of the major countries like US or something, and then they just follow that pattern rest of the world. And now, it seems even the economies are all intertwined and they are all connected. So if there is a real estate crash, it's like it happens in the US, Canada, India, all at the same time, right? It's not like a single country anymore. So
it could be interesting
I think like the globalization is becoming real with time, and
could be interesting
feel like
content.
The left-right divide is spreading across all countries. They have the same ideologies, and people are having conflicting opinion amongst themselves in every country now. So I think people are not picking up the reasoning behind it. They just based upon what they have been consuming from the media for the last several years. People just make their choices and they're stubborn. They don't want to hear other people's opinions. They just stick to their own. And I think media has a big role to play in that. And whoever controls the media is basically going to decide who's going to win the election, pretty much. So I feel like the people who are in charge of the media, like the oligarchs or whoever owns the bigger corporations, they are the ones deciding which way the elections are going to go. And Western civilization is declining, I think, primarily due to due to several reasons. One of them is like there is more demand for socialist policies or populist policies, more immigration and low birth rate in their own countries, so they're looking for people coming from other countries and try to replace them. And I think immigration is creating more disharmony in several countries, and it's not helping their economy as much as they would expect it to. Yeah, that's all. What do you think?
Here's my take on it, bro, right? Because you use the word civilization, and that's why I said no. I don't think Western civilization or civilization as a whole is in decline. If you would ask me, the political economy cohesion, if that's going to probably change, I think you would probably see changes over there. That doesn't mean Western civilization is in decline, and I think both of them are slightly different. People often muddle them up, but I don't think they should be muddled up. They're two different concepts. So that's my take on it, though.
I appreciate that. So you're saying that even if America declines, hypothetically speaking, Western civilization will continue to accelerate.
Correct.
Very interesting.
I mean, if you inverse your question, basically, and address it towards the BRICS nations, are the BRICS nations now in a state of decline, or are they in a continued state of growth, cohesion, and organizational intelligence? I think the world is constantly optimizing, but I get the feeling that the fact that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are exposing all this corruption, fraud, waste, and abuse, it's probably rampant globally, but I just wonder, in China and in India, are they also essentially taking a would they ever take a scalpel internally? Because I see in China they actually arrest. I don't know if they arrest party officials or government officials, but I see justice in terms of civil fraud. So I don't know, punishments overseas, executions of thieves in the government or thieves in civil matters. So I don't know. I'm essentially a universalist or an equilibrationist, meaning I think the world is in a state of perfection and unity. So if you just play contrarian and yin yang, black and white, white and black, I mean, it kind of nullifies all debates. But the Germany news and Elon Musk's involvement and AfD's victory is big news for Germany, because the American cultural renaissance is maybe happening in Europe, which is essentially, make Europe great again. And so you could say Elon Musk is the magic man. He's the wizard of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is now, king of the West. And Elon Musk is his wizard, performing incredible, powerful, performances.
Yes, I appreciate that. And one of the things about the BRICS is it's really not a thing. It's an economic bloc, and that's about it. It's too spread out across the world. You've got at least two large oceans in between all these three, if you begin to count each and every major one of them. It's really not a cultural / political framework. It's not. It's just an economic framework because they're trading within themselves anyways, considering how this people change their position. So it's not the equal.
But here's right? And I think we often muddle it up, and this is how people think about it, that is the West social or whatever framework and things like that. They're not, right? I mean, let's look at it in the United States, for instance. They've had a lot of difficulty passing something like Obamacare, right? Whereas if you talk about abrogating or even weakening the NHS in the United Kingdom, however far right you may be, that's a no-go. The same thing in Australia, right? What they call the National Health Australia Services, I think, NHAS, right? Kind of funny, the same name. But again, for them, that would be a no-go. However far right you go, you you can't touch these organizations, their social welfare programs. So I don't think that this concept of you saying that there's a unified culture and the way they all look at their own societies is the same. It's not. Sure, they all speak English. You're right. Sure, there are a lot of similarities. Yes, and they have done very well to identify those similarities and trump them up. But there are also differences, and I think it's important to recognize that.
Yes, and that's the reason why I use the word construct, because there's enough glue to bring them together, but then there's also diversity in the ways in which they each approach their own problems that are not necessarily even unique, but even universal. Healthcare is a universal issue. So I quite appreciate that. But from the US conservative lens, it appears as though there is a civilizational meta. And that's the reason why I asked you the question, and I think you've answered the question from your position.
No, but then see, here's the other difference, right? So if you right wing, right, far right in the United States, right, they tend to have a lot of problems with the Jewish lobby over there. You will not find people who are members of the EDL, for instance, having issues with Jews. Their focus is very much on Islam. In America, the American right, they may dislike Islam, but their focus is far more on Jews. And I'll tell you why, and rightly so, because they feel that in each society, they feel that their society is being undermined by these separate groups depending on where you are. And that's where I say these differences do lie. And I don't think they're very easy to convince the other side that, look, this is the bigger problem. Because they're all going to think that their own enemy is the bigger problem.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but until I started digging a little bit more in Europe's case, for example, one of the things that are truly secular as a community are anti-Semites, because you seem to be getting anti-Semites from many quarters of the world. One of them is also the Christian nationalist movement, not all of them again. And I want to be very, very clear about what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Christian nationalism is anti-Semitic. Some components of it indeed are. And in Europe, if you look at AFD again, some of the people that support the AFD are actually self-proclaimed anti-Semites, even in Germany. So I think there's enough of a cleavage HK there, and we have to wait and watch how it's going to manifest. Right now, the table is set up in such an interesting way that it's hard to model. And a generic approach that you can take is that the world will continue to oscillate between left and right, and that's true. However, can you use that as an instrument to model outcomes within the next 10 years precisely, or even remotely precisely? Probably not.
But here's the other interesting aspect to it, right? What percentage, now, the United Kingdom, for instance, is a Christian country. But what percentage of English people or British citizens or I don't know how the model's been done, really consider themselves to be Christian, and even for the white population, it's less than like 15% today. Whereas if you cross the pond and you go to the United States, I don't know if it's a Christian country or not, but they certainly aren't ruled by the Church of America, just like how the guiding principle for England is the Church of England. But a very large percentage of Americans are Christian, and they are. They go to church on Sundays, right? In the UK, and I think this is probably echoed across Europe, you have difficulty they have difficulty getting people to even walk into church. So you do have a small segment of them who are probably very, very Christian, and they've got this Christian nationalism. I don't know what the numbers in Germany are. I mean, with the CDU, it's kind of interesting with the name, but at least from the United Kingdom, when I talk about English-speaking country, I don't think even that similarity does exist. You'd probably see the UK closer to Australia and New Zealand over there.
That's so true. And the thing is, again, atheists in Europe, there's a whole spectrum of atheists. You get the rabid Bagheera, which are anti-church, anti-establishment, and whatnot. And then you get the somber ones that are somewhat sanguine about the church's misgivings, but will proudly declare that they have moral values that are very Christian. But they don't believe in the Christ or the Father, but they get their ethical normatives from Christianity. And one of the things that's happened in Europe because of liberalism is that this capacity to pronounce your identity was declared as being far right, but it wasn't. So now you have a resurgence, and that explains why the AFD is getting good.
Like, and it's exactly the same with smells. You're like, oh, that's agar wood. I know what that smells like. You know. So that's about it. It's you don't need a better nose.
Yeah, but we have this thing called being tone deaf, which I don't know if that's true or not, but there seem to be a lot of people who can't seem to pick out pitches, and like I know people who don't hear bass lines in music, just like things that they have certain blind spots, or just I don't know what that is. If that's just they haven't put the right things to words, or if it's a
I think it's a really rare thing, like, to be completely tone deaf. I think most people are, like, tone stupid. You know, they're not that good at it. But, I mean, if you work in music, I'm sure if you train someone for a couple years, they can probably understand music theory and know what a C or a D sounds like, or, you know, so.
Let me tell you this thing. I couldn't sing you the note C. I have relative pitch. So if you play me the note C, I can tell you what A is, you know, shortly after that. But I can't dispute. I don't have perfect pitch, so I'm not as accurate as you know.
No,
what does this have to do with sin?
We're not sure yet.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually, I'm sure.
Well, it's important as Christians. We discuss sin all the time. All the time.
We're talking about sniffing butt cracks. That's a sin, right?
Yes, Jesus in 2 Timothy said, "Thou shalt not sniff a butt crack in vain."
He did say that. I remember that one. That was right after he made the.
Have you ever made a perfume off of the juniper tree?
Yeah. Juniper is really nice. Although if you use too much of it, it can smell like you're trying to make rum, right?
What are the mystical trees?
Or gin, you mean gin, right?
Oh, gin. Yeah, that's right. They're different. That's right. Juniper is more like a peppery, minty conifer, and then yeah, that's right. You got me.
You guys are making me a little sad right now. I haven't been able to smell shit since 2021. So yeah, this sucks.
You don't even know what your own farts smell like nowadays?
No, I lost my sense of smell completely thanks to COVID. I'm like the less than 0.05%.
So fart on yourself right now and do a test. Do a fart test. Fart on yourself.
I help people with that. You can get it back.
I tried the essential oils thing. I've tried numerous methods to try to get it back. You've got your olfactory sensories in there that have to be like reactivated. They go dormant or something. I've tried about a dozen different exercises to get them back, and nothing's
I'll
worked.
tell you which materials to start with. So go onto the website. I'll put it on the bottom. It's called perfumersapprentice.com, and ask them for the sharpest minty materials possible. Just a second, I'll throw it down there.
Why don't you just get some 26-year-old off of Hinge to fart in your face?
So that's a website down there. It's called perfumersapprentice.com, and you can order like mint crystals that'll it fucking blows you away. Start with that, like Borneo crystals, or ask them for like the mintiest, strongest minty crystal materials. Tell them some perfumer told you to start with it. And what you can do is you can throw it in your bath, or if you're taking a warm shower, throw like one crystal in the bottom. And I can guarantee you after a day, a week, a month or something, it just keeps sticking that one material, that really strong material. And then from there you work down, like slightly less powerful, slightly less strong material. Right, so you start with
don't forget that all communication is hypnosis as you're sniffing this emerald, incredible olfactory experience.
You got that, Johnito? You can do that. It'll cost you like $10. They'll send you this thing, and it's really worth doing. You'll be able to get it back.
Just imagine when you get your smell back and you realize that your farts stink.
I gotta reload the room because the chat's not showing up. I'll be right back.
Just imagine when your smell comes back and you have a big Mexican dinner, and next thing you know, you say, "Damn, I wish I didn't get my smell back. This is great. I don't have to smell my queefs, my farts." You may have just, set Shawnito up for disaster, Mind Virus.
No, I take a link. I'll do some research on it. I've done some minty stuff in the past to try that. Mint is definitely one of the more potent scents that you can get. But yeah,
It's more than they suck out of this system. Sure. So, but however, it that very may well be the case across different even populations, even ones that where the averages or distributions are different. But with that being said, okay, so where this becomes really difficult is that you have. Okay, can you guys kick him? He's gonna.
What are you even saying, Peppa? You're saying nothing. Roast these motherfuckers good. Roast them good. That's what I say. Roast them real good.
What the Americans asked for. I think what the Americans were asking for was, we will be nationalists and everyone else will be globalists. It doesn't work that way. Everyone is a nationalist, or everyone is a globalist.
Okay, let me see if you can explore the contrarian perspective of this. What if I submit the motion that right wings from across the world actually have the capacity to practically work with each other way more than globalists? How would you respond to something like that?
They do, but it's not. But the thing is, they're always driven by their own self-interest. So, which is a good thing, right? So, when you work in your self-interest and someone else works in their self-interest, then you find commonality, which is in self-interest for both. You could have globalists, I think, historically, which worked in another country's self-interest, putting your self-interest, on the back burner, which is not a good thing.
Oh, he just gone full
I think for
Saturn.
a long time people were okay with that, but I don't think anymore.
Yes, there's also skepticism about the globalists for these constituents because they feel ripped off. You look at USAID, for example, Trump is funding elections, $20 million. They have no business. The Americans were up in arms when the Russians apparently spent conjecture at this point in time, all of it. So, but in up in arms, I think who could forget the previous election when Donald Trump won? And then you get the U.S. Mocking voices of dissent and outliers within the system. And, so these are global institutions that funded it. All the money is global. Institutions that funnel that money to India, all of them are global. So the Indians will perhaps be pardoned for saying, okay, what did the globalists do to us at the end of it, aside from globalization? Which is a fair trade thing. I'll get you something, you pay me back for it. That's fantastic. We'll take some of that. That will be fine. But aside from that, interventions, political interventions, I think the world is running out of patience for this kind of American intervention projects. And as a consequence of that, you could be having a situation where many right-wing polls are emanating. And it's going to be transactional. We've entered an era of complete transactionalism. But I think that as opposed to conflated virtue signaling with globalists kind of thing, when we're not, we all have passports. My passport gets me entry to much lesser country than yours. We're not equal. We're just not. And resources, there's a fighting fight to the finish across the world. Anything that's rare, bad earth includes, pardon the pun, competition that's happening, we're not equals, and I think that now the American approach seems to have reinforced what we always knew, each for themselves.
Yeah, I think competition and competitive behavior is going to amplify. And I think Elon Musk, what he's doing is because of the communication distribution all throughout the world, everybody in China, India, Canada, Mexico is watching what Donald Trump is doing and exposing what has been going on, which I think it's like a huge relief mechanism. I mean, all kinds of internal spending programs that the public has no idea about, that Congress doesn't even know about, are being exposed in the real time. So I can only imagine that other countries are going to essentially take this Doge mentality and the memetics, the metaphysical aspect of forensic accounting, and a Doge type attitude is probably going to spread to many governments throughout Europe, Africa, even. I mean, I think that memetic has the ability to change a lot of countries, and I think the German one right now is example of that.
That's so true, but part of the problem is that, sometimes when, think of it as your parents doing some things, which they thought was wise, and then you come along 20 years down, and you look at the account and you really say this is really stupid. Probably right yourself. But the operating context of the parents were fundamentally different in what they tried to solve for is the balance of both across the world. And one of the problems in this George-like mentality, where there are many upsides to it, no question, and I welcome this, I think the US, yet again, is a pioneer in this, and it's fantastic. But one of the problems that they might need to have is to pluck out the data set, decontextualize it, and make it embellish it rather, and make it stand out as it's a problem without the operating context. And I truly hope that doesn't happen, because that's how you end up with $40 million of vaccines totally out of context in the US. What the US has done for global wellness, for example, especially AIDS in Africa, is actually unprecedented. And the question is, why do I have to do it? The US does position itself as a global leader. And some of the riches of that she enjoys, of having its authority unquestioned, generally speaking, allowing more American influence across the world. These are tremendous capacities of the US. One of the things that I worry about is the retreat of capacities of America to influence people of leadership and eminence across the world. And you have another pandemic, for example, which we just emerged out of, hopefully. If the US is not going to engage meaningfully and drive public policy across the world, there's going to be a lacuna, and then God knows who's going to fill that up. Hopefully it's not drunk. So personally, I believe in global institutions. I wish my country was wealthy enough to fund it. I think we should. Every country should be able to bring its pound of flesh, but I think the US not backing global institutions would be would have a net zero effect, negative effect, over long time differences. I don't see the Chinese enthusiastic the slightest about global health. I don't see them writing the kind of checks that Americans would. Coordination amongst virologists, for example, if somebody.
Your mic's really bad. Really bad for a while. You could kind of just.
Yeah.
How about now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, please, you.
I was going to say the World Health Organization, Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates, they're in a world of mess, in a big, big problem, because Robert F. Kennedy is now the National Health, Inspector General or whatever. So those big checks and those 30 million vials of, Pfizer vaccines. I mean, if you're working in Wall Street and you're a financial analyst, I mean, I think everybody's probably very scared in the pharmaceutical industry of downsizing, and I guess right sizing or upsizing, whatever is in their product pipeline that now doesn't have the term vaccine in it. Um, and then using those pharmaceuticals. Anyways, the point is, whatever conspiracy theory was happening with the World Health Organization, and maybe World Economic Forum and China's involvement, in terms of like the globalists, you might call them. I mean, they are now like they can't. I don't think they can even believe what has happened in terms of like being flip flopped, and especially the communication paradigm with regards to that type of health or that type of science propaganda. In my opinion, I think everything now is like in a higher state of chaos than ever before because the people that were controlling the misinformation, the propaganda, the lies, and the communication networks, they've been, ripped from their aviaries and now they're just, relaxing. But if there's justice and retribution coming, they are, trying to evade, conceal, create something new. I mean, I think the bird flu epidemic is, what they keep going with and going with and going with. And but there's just so many regulatory changes that are going to happen from the government with regards to health that it's really a great time, but it's a sad time because so many people have been polluted with these poisons. And even the Zuckerberg initiative and Zuckerberg Health Institute, which is looking at reducing inflammation, it's like you have fucked people's genetic codes up. It's like there's no coming back from what they've done. There's just so many innocent victims and so many people who have yet to really have their health problems manifest. So this is like the craziest thing. I mean, it makes even wars look relatively comparable. Shooting a bullet or shooting a vaccine, it's like, which one's worse? One kills you immediately, but the other one, eliminates billions from the future generations of reproduction. So I would pray to God that harsh justice comes down on the conspirators with regards to the C-19 and the ZAV. I mean, I do not like what they've done, but I would like to see justice. I would like to see arrests in the United States. I don't care what the rest of the world does, but I would like a lot of these people from 2020 to be arrested.
Yeah, there's never been a moment in human history for.
They kicked me from their room. Did not like that.
Walked alongside these men of God, women prophesied and preach the word of God.
As a woman, princess,
all flesh. There's scripture that says that there's neither male nor female, nor Jew nor Greek. So